When you walk into a restaurant, airport, or shopping mall in the United States, you'll often see a sign pointing toward the restroom. The word sounds calm and polite, almost comforting. But if you think about it for a moment, the name feels a little strange. People don't usually go there to rest. Instead, they go there for something far more practical. So, why is it called a restroom in the first place? To understand how this term appeared and why it stuck, we have to look at the history of public sanitation, changing social norms, and the evolution of polite language. Let's dive in, right here, on History of Simple Things. Today, the word toilet is completely normal, but it wasn't always considered polite in certain cultures. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, many English speakers, especially in the United States, felt uncomfortable speaking directly about bodily functions. As a result, people started using euphemisms, which are indirect or softer expressions meant to replace words that might seem embarrassing or crude. Instead of saying toilet, people began using terms that sounded more refined or socially acceptable. Language like this helped maintain a sense of politeness in public settings, particularly in formal places such as hotels, restaurants, and theaters. These establishments wanted to communicate clearly with guests while still preserving an atmosphere of dignity. That desire for politeness played a major role in creating alternative names for spaces where people could relieve themselves. Public restrooms didn't become common until cities began modernizing in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Before that time, many homes relied on outhouses, chamber pots, or simple outdoor facilities. As indoor plumbing became more widespread, public buildings started installing dedicated washrooms for guests. Hotels, train stations, and department stores were among the first places to provide them regularly. However, these businesses also wanted to avoid uncomfortable or awkward signage. A sign reading "toilet room" could feel too direct for the sensibilities of the time. Instead, establishments experimented with more discreet language. Words like lavatory, washroom, comfort station, and eventually restroom began appearing in public spaces. Each of these terms focused on cleanliness, comfort, or relaxation rather than the actual function of the room. The word restroom likely emerged from the idea that these spaces were quiet, private areas where people could briefly step away from public activity. Early public facilities sometimes included chairs, mirrors, or small lounges where visitors could sit down, adjust their clothing, or take a short break. This was especially common in large department stores during the early 20th century. Shoppers, particularly women, might spend hours browsing, so businesses created comfortable spaces where they could pause before continuing. In that context, the word restroom actually made sense. The space was not only functional, but also a place where people could collect themselves, fix their appearance, or simply relax for a moment. Even though modern restrooms rarely serve that broader purpose, the name remained. Department stores played a surprisingly important role in spreading the word restroom. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, these stores were becoming major social spaces in American cities. Retailers wanted to create environments where customers felt comfortable staying for long periods. Providing clean and pleasant restrooms was part of that strategy. Many stores even advertised their facilities as a courtesy to shoppers. Instead of labeling these areas bluntly, they used more refined language that aligned with the era's standards of etiquette. Signs pointing to the ladies' restroom or men's restroom became increasingly common. The term sounded gentle, respectable, and welcoming, which helped businesses maintain an atmosphere of hospitality. As department stores grew in popularity, the term restroom spread with them. Interestingly, the word restroom is used much more often in the United States than in many other English-speaking countries. In the United Kingdom, for example, people typically say toilet, loo, or lavatory. In Canada, washroom is more common, while in some parts of Asia and Europe you may see signs that simply say WC, short for water closet. Each of these terms reflects slightly different cultural attitudes about politeness and directness. Americans historically favored indirect language for sensitive topics, which helped restroom become widely accepted. Over time, the word appeared not only in department stores, but also in restaurants, airports, offices, and schools. Even though everyone understands its true purpose, the softer wording continues to feel polite and neutral in public settings. Today, the word restroom has mostly lost its connection to actual rest. People simply understand it as another word for a public bathroom. Even though modern restrooms are just functional spaces with sinks, stalls, and hand dryers, the name remains because it sounds polite, neutral, and widely accepted. In the past, the term helped people refer to a private necessity without being too direct, which is why it continues to be used today. It's a small example of how language evolves to match social comfort and cultural habits. And like many everyday words, its original meaning quietly faded while the term itself stayed in use. The term restroom may sound strange, literally, but it reflects how language adapts to social etiquette. In the past, direct references to toilets were considered impolite, so people used gentler terms instead. Businesses like department stores and hotels helped popularize restroom because it sounded more welcoming. Some early facilities even included small lounge areas where visitors could briefly relax. Over time, the function stayed the same, but the polite name remained, becoming a normal part of everyday language. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.